I am going to give my state of the program for Baylor women's tennis after the 2026 season concluded. I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. Baylor did finish in the round of 32 this year, unlike the last 2 years, which were round of 64 exits. It is a step forward in that direction. Baylor dominated Texas A&M in doubles, to say the least. I mean, number 3 doubles, Baylor won 6-0. Number 2 doubles, they won 6-2. Even number 1 doubles, Baylor was up 4-3 break. Texas A&M responded, though. They won every first set. Sure, there was about to be a three-set match at 5, but it didn't matter. Texas A&M closed Baylor out with 4 straight set singles wins. Baylor did finish 14-10 overall. You got to keep in mind that, like the ITA kickoff weekend, they had to not play due to the crazy ice storm and the travel. Yeah, they pulled out. And obviously did have like a doubleheader supposed to be scheduled this year against UTGRV. UTGRV decided to cancel those matches eventually due to injuries. UTGRV did play the rest of the year, but that weekend they couldn't play. There was no way to reschedule, apparently. It was a step backwards in terms of the win-loss record, but not NCAA tournament-wise. And obviously in conference, they finished 7-5. A little bit of a step back compared to last year. I'm just going to go over, like, there were some 4-3 losses that could have gone either other way. I mean, the SMU one, the Rice, the Arizona State, the BYU. And I'm going to give context to those 4-3 losses. The first one I mentioned was SMU. SMU literally added 2 players that week, and there were 1 and 2 singles. Eventually, the court 1 was not cleared to play again after that week. Yeah, they decided not. She didn't even play for SMU the rest of the way after that Baylor match. And she defeated Nardon in 3 sets. So, if you were to take that player out, Baylor could have won that match. And obviously, if they would have won doubles, they win that match. Like, Rice was probably the most questionable loss here. I'm just being honest. Yeah, Rice got to the NCAA tournament this year, but they had to win the American Conference tournament to even qualify for the NCAA tournament. It's not like they were some at-large team. And I get Rice is a good program, but you shouldn't lose to them. If Baylor won doubles, they win that match. And guess what happened to Rice and the NCAAs? They beat TCU in the first round before bowing out in the second round. Maybe that's not a bad loss in hindsight. And I know there's that Washington loss. Baylor lost 4-0. But if Baylor won doubles, yeah, that was going to be a 4-3 possible Baylor win, given what happened after that. The Arizona State one, Baylor won doubles point. Baylor was up 3-2 in a dual match. And there were 2 3-set matches remaining. Baylor was up on both of those. Baylor needed one of them. They couldn't get either. Yeah, it sounds crazy, I know. Now, I know Oklahoma State did look questionable, given how their season went. They finished 8-7, but if you don't include their forfeit losses. Oklahoma State was very fortunate to have 6 available players at that time. And the only point that Baylor got was a medical retirement win at 6. Oklahoma State didn't even make the NCAAs this year. And now they have a new head coach. Obviously, TCU both times, yeah, they were both 4-1 losses, and honestly, the Texas Tech one was a 4-1 loss. So yeah, and to add context to the BYU loss, I did hear in the grapevine that a BYU player slammed their racket at the chair, like as in the chair near the chair umpire. That should have been a forfeit. I mean, not really a forfeit, but a you're done at court one, BYU, because your teammate violated violated that rule. You can't do that. Obviously, if Baylor won doubles, they would have won the match, or 4-2 because of the timing of it. Yeah, Baylor would have won the match because of those last two matches in singles were 3-set matches, and they both were won by BYU. Obviously, Na Dong was serving for the win. She couldn't hold serve. If she would have held serve, Baylor wins 4-3. And I know there was that situation at 6-all. There was like an overrule, which was a game penalty. You can't put yourself in that position to begin with on the overrule. It's not like the Big 12 was some amazing conference, folks. I mean, guess how many Sweet 16 teams did the Big 12 get this year? 0. Including 5 teams who lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I knew Kansas was going to lose to Oklahoma in round 64. Oklahoma was the host. Of course they were going to lose. Even Arizona State was a host, and they still lost. It was 4-3 to UCLA. Texas Tech pushed. Texas, they took doubles and won the singles matches. Made it very interesting, but guess what? They still lost. And UCF had no chance against NC State. Let's be real. It was 4-0. Not a good look for the Big 12 as a whole. But the loss of Texas and Oklahoma, this conference got worse. In terms of historical perspective, Oklahoma not really, but Texas, yeah, that's a big deal. The only way the Big 12 is only going to get better in this sport for next year is to win more matches overall against the better opponents on their respective schedules. Yeah. Crazy. I know. It was like that for women's volleyball like 2 years ago when no Sweet 16 team occurred. I will say though, Baylor was good on the season when they take the doubles point. Prior to that Texas A&M match, they were 12-1. Obviously, Texas A&M is a lot better team than Arizona State. I'm sorry, it's just telling the truth. They're a higher seed. They're a top 5 seed in NCAAs. Obviously, if Baylor lost a doubles point, they struggled. They were 2-8. And what's crazy is, against Wisconsin, they lost doubles, and they still won. That has to change going to next year. I'm just being honest. You cannot lose doubles and automatically lose. And prior to that Wisconsin win, the only time that Baylor won the match despite losing doubles point was against Kansas State. And Kansas State was not some great team. They didn't even qualify for the Big 12 tournament. Yeah, it's only for the top 10 this year. They decided to change that up. They obviously did not qualify for the NCAA tournament either. So you guys get the point. Sure, it was a 9-bid league for the Big 12, but no Sweet 16 teams. they obviously had a lot of doubles pairings at number 3. I'm just saying that when you look at the amount of it, and they were like 10-9, they got to be better there. Same thing goes for 2. They were 12-9, and honestly at 1 they were kind of iffy as well. I mean 11-9. They had to split up Nadong and Suzanne Kabaha in order to help themselves in the doubles. So yeah, they had to do something in order to win here. Now, in terms of singles, it's obvious on what the weak spots are for the team this past year. I mean, number 6, 5-13. And number 3, 7-12. I will say, Kennedy Gibbs struggled, to say the least, in singles this year. It's not just due to playing style, either from the opponent. I know at times she was hardly moving because of injury, and they played her anyway. If you would have pulled her out of the lineup, you would move your 4 player to the 3 and 5 to a 4, 6 to a 5, 7 to the 6. You guys get the point. That's probably one of the reasons why at number 6 they struggled as well. And even Luna didn't play right away in singles. It was Gabrielle Villegas, and she struggled in singles. I mean, it's just telling the truth. And the last time that Luna won, I believe, in singles was against like Utah, and she was on court 5 for that match. Yeah, we got to be better. And honestly, number 1, when Baylor loses at 1-2 singles, they don't win matches. I'm sorry, because that was their strengths this year. I mean, 11-7 at 1, 18-5 at 2, and they did flip flop those Nadong and Suzanne Kabaha for the NCAAs, by the way. Number 4 was like not really horrible, but not like the 1 and 2 spot good. I mean, 12-8. And honestly, number 5 was like 10-8. Now, in terms of the roster, obviously Kenny Gibbs is out of the eligibility no matter what. I know they were trying to explore another year for Nadong, but I don't know what's going to happen there. And I did notice that Lindsey Patton was obviously recognized as a senior as well. So that's 3 players at most. Well, if somehow Nog comes back for another year, that would be helpful, but I just don't know. It's just tricky, and there's that 5 for 5 that's probably going to happen at some point. I just don't know when it's going to happen, like this year, and it's going to include like it's going to happen sooner rather than later for all those seniors that are. I mean, all those players that are going to be seniors literally in a year from now, and not this year's seniors. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that was a 10-player roster. And I want to clarify one thing. I was a little wrong about the roster going into the year. They listed Annika Sato still at the time, and same thing goes for Wenfei Yu. I checked later, a few days later. They were no longer listed on the roster. I had checked, to see if they were playing college tennis somewhere else. They were not. I wonder if they got homesick. I don't blame them if they were. So, I don't know what was going on there. I'm just being honest. And let's assume we're losing 3 for sure. What does Baylor women's tennis have coming in? They have 2 players coming in and for the fall. And this was a young team, to say the least. And I know one of the freshmen didn't even play this year in Ryoko. Ume Kuni. Yeah, she didn't even play. So I wonder if she was redshirting or what. I don't know what was going on there. Or they're going to count her as a sophomore a year from now. I don't know what they're going to do for next year. Yeah, they do have two players coming in, and it's Maria Ustic and Lingaya Murray, like from Yonkers, New York, and the other one's from Great Britain. Oxford, to be exact. I definitely think there's a shot, though, that Maria Ustic could be a starter in a singles lineup next year, based on UTR. Now, the other, I don't know for sure. Hopefully, Baylor brings back Zuzanna Kabaha. That way, she could be your 1/2 player. But you got to find somebody else up top with her in singles, and you got to be better at number 3 singles as well. Obviously, I know part of it's injury, part of it is playing style, and we don't have a true number 3 this year. Even in pulling a player at number 3, you force players to move up a spot. So, I don't know what's going to happen there. Hopefully, somebody emerges at both of the spots at 2 and 3, whether it's an incoming freshman or somebody that could potentially return to the team next year. And we got to be better at the bottom because you cannot bleed points at number 6. You just can't, because teams will take advantage. And obviously in doubles, we got to be better as a whole. And I know they started the year with Nadong and Zuzanna Kabaha at 1, but they struggled at the other 2 courts. Or even if they lost at 1, they would have lost the other ones. That's why I kind of split them apart and try to do a lot of different doubles combinations. So, yeah. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Joey Scrivano is going to go anywhere until he retires. His wife works at Baylor. And you got to keep in mind that Doug McNamee, the new AD at Baylor, he's only on the 6th month of the job. I don't know if he would want to do a change right now compared to some other program issues like football. You might need to make a move later. Baseball could be an issue if they don't make some CAs. I don't know what they're going to do there this year. I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to keep Mitch Thompson for another year? Wouldn't shock me if they do that. Or they move on and get a different coach. It wouldn't be shocking to me if they did that. And I know there's obviously that equestrian has been not that great either. So maybe they're making a move there. Maybe they're not. I don't know what they're going to do. But you get the point. And it's not like Baylor women's tennis has done a lot lately either. I mean, look, 2015 was the last time that Baylor made a Sweet 16 or further. Yeah, I get they hosted the first 2 rounds in the NCAA tournament back in 2017 and 2021. But they lost both. 4-3 to tough draws. I mean, Duke in a 2021 match was better than that ranking showed. And obviously Texas A&M in 2017. It's against a rival after all. I just got a hunch that Joe Scrivano is going to retire at Baylor before Baylor makes a move. I hope next year is better, and hopefully there's no any canceled matches on this past year. They didn't hardly play any matches this year. Part of it was due to weather issues, like for the ITA kickoff weekend, they didn't even play that. And part of it is a different team, had injury issues, and they had to pull out, unfortunately. If this team wants to be like better as a whole, they have to win matches that they're supposed to win. I get SMU added 2 players later on, including one player who was no longer eligible and then hasn't played for SMU since then. You got to win those matches you're supposed to win, and they need to win more matches overall to even think about maybe becoming a top 16 seed again. Hopefully something changes against TCU in a year from now, because TCU won 2 matches to none. And honestly, Oklahoma State looked like a bad loss later on because they didn't even make NCAAs. Hopefully that changes, but we don't know what's going to happen in terms of the conference schedule. I will say this, though. Oklahoma State will have a new head coach, and it's going to be the Houston head coach, and now Houston's going to have to look for a head coach too. So you guys get it. It's not like the Big 12 is going to probably play everybody in every single match. They're not going to do that based on what they've done like this year and last year. I'm sorry this video is going to take almost 22 minutes long here. I just want to be very detailed on my thoughts on the season, the Big 12 as a whole, what the weaknesses are, what needs to happen. I know it stinks to not go to a Sweet 16 again, but at least they didn't miss the tournament. And at least they didn't lose in the first round for the 3rd straight year. Compare that to 5 other Big 12 teams that didn't even win their first round match, including the Big 12 tournament champs, TCU. Enough of my thoughts here. It's going to be like almost 23 minutes long here. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe button. See you guys later. On the road to 800 scores, so the main goal is to have more my mind to scores like video. Commentary really helps YouTube background. So more people see us, sharing the video does help as well. So more people could watch. And if you're watching, hit subscribe button for your notification bell as well.